Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Being on a little bit of a break, but we are back now and going at full charge. Today we'll be discussing none other than Bones. Yes, Bones, the first ever monster to grace the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Do you guys remember Bones? Yes, Bones. Not Mr. Bones or Bonesy McBones Pants or whatever you want to call him. Bones. He is a skeletal monster made entirely, out of bones, guys. He has a red hat, a black hat with a red trim around it, a red cape, and made nothing but bones, and a nice little sword to flourish. He looks kind of like a Three Musketeer on Halloween. But why is he so important? Well, he was the very first monster that the team of Power Rangers ever fought. He was the very first monster of Season 1, and the very first monster of the entire Zordon era. And he was the very first monster of the week to appear in Power Rangers at all. That does not include guys like Babu and all them. Those guys are like generals and stuff like that, and not really supposed to be fighting along with Goldar. I mean, this guy was the run-of-the-mill, fight him for a week, and then basically die that week and we get a new one next week. So that means he was the first ever creation of Finster. Yes, the first original monster that Finster made upon being released from the space dumpster after 10,000 years. Now, how did he make this guy? Well, he took some magic clay, sculpted together, and put it in the Monster-matic to basically use a special little device on Bones himself. See, Bones has the power to seal the Power Rangers in a time warp like Rita did to Zordon 10,000 years earlier, thus letting the Earth be able to be invaded by, Rita and her new forces as they come storming in against the putties. Because normal people can't fight off putties, you have to be enhanced by some fashion. It's been seen multiple times, even in the Power Rangers itself in the 30th anniversary. Now, like a Three Musketeer that he looks kind of like portraying as, when upon being created, he politely greets his queen, and Rita's kind of satisfied with Bones and goes, okay, we can deal with this. This is pretty good. So he's got the Time Warp powers. He'll basically first kick these teens' butts and then send them packing and freeze them in time, and then we'll just go in and take over everything. That was the plan. Now, after the Rangers defeat an army of putties, Bones deploys in Angel Grove and lands in the fairgrounds, where the first thing he starts doing is blasting away, having fun, and destroying everything that he can get his hands on. Now, he's being a general pain in the butt for everybody in there, especially the citizens of Angel Grove, but then the Rangers morph, confront their very first monster, and the first thing he does is remove his head and teleport the Rangers into a time warp. Yes, he literally picks his head up and off, and it just like type something like that, and they're all teleported into time warp. Now, then Bones summons his Skelly Boys, or Skeleton Warriors, basically putties in they're basically these black spandex costumes. They're like the black spandex with the skeleton trim around them. Yeah, it was really low budget on that one. They could have tried something else, but hey, whatever. But they've got these I'm gonna call them Skelly Boys to aid him in battle, and while he does something else. Essentially, the Skelly Boys fight the rest of the team while he personally fights Jason, and they have their little duel because Jason's got a sword, and Bones himself has a sword, so they start fighting itself with cool swords, while the rest of the group is dealing with their new Skelly Boys here. Now, at the same time, Squat and Babu set up a bomb on a tree that will blow up and seal the time warp shut, trapping the Rangers forever in there. Now, this is pretty interesting because they go, hey, this is a pretty good plan. We're going to put this bomb here, take them out while they're distracted because they're so focused on the Skelly Boys and Bones himself, so they'll take out lickety-split. However, the team of Rangers works together and defeats the Skelly Boys, and Mr. Bones goes, I don't like that. He stabs his sword into the ground and creates a chasm, much like in Lost Galaxy, knocking the other Rangers down and out, and allowing him to overwhelm Jason. However, the other 4 Rangers aren't fully out as he believed. They pull out their blasters and just start blasting, essentially. Just go pow, 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 with the laser beams. And this happens pretty well because Jason also dodges the blasts, but Bones is able to restore his body. Because remember, he is nothing but a sack of bones. Haha, that's the name. Now, because of this, Billy realizes that the only true weak point is his head, guys. His head is like the main focus, so he goes and grabs it. He grabs the head and tosses to Trini, who wraps up the head in Bones' own cloak, and then the last 6 Skelly Boys come in and start fighting to try to get back Bones' head. However, Trini defeats them all with utter ease, smooth as butter. She just destroys them all, and, well, she basically got it right then and there. She then throws Bones' head right into the chasm that Bones created himself with his sword, destroying both his head and his body, which falls back into it and explodes. However, Rita doesn't enlarge Bones. He's the first and probably only one of the major ones that is never like fully revived like that. Instead of sending or reviving him with her make her monster grow, she sends another monster known as Giant, which is basically a giant knight, to Earth to destroy the Rangers, but he's quickly defeated himself. Now, that is the long story of Bones, yes. That's kind of it, guys. He's kind of, apparently he's based off of Baron Samedi in Voodoo lore. If you don't know who Baron Samedi is, go play Smite, I'll give you some ideas there, but he doesn't really do too much. His major thing was his head removal. He moves his head, he can teleport enemies at will. He can also reform as long as his head isn't destroyed. Now, he's also got the power to summon his Skelly Boys, and he's a good swordsman apparently, because he's holding up Jason pretty well. But then he's also able to shrug off his blade blasters off of ease. It's just a matter of, like, if his head is ever, like, destroyed, the rest of his body goes with him, which makes sense for a Skelly Boy like himself. However, that is it. He only appeared in one episode, episode number 2, High Five, and he would actually show up again in 2 other things of Power Rangers media in Boom Studios. Godzilla vs. Power Rangers, he shows up there in issue number 3, only in flashback, and then also in the second generation of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, issue number 4. So that is him, and that is the rest of the story for Bones. He's not a laughing matter, but if you hit him in the right area, it won't be funny bone. Ha ha ha, yeah, that was a bad joke. You're welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and may the power protect you always. Have a good one, until next time, guys.